Alright buddy, in today's video we're going to talk about the brand new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I had the opportunity to play it early, so thanks again to Activision and Infinity Ward for inviting me up to the event so I had early access to the game. But the thing I wanted to focus on was crossplay, because it seems like there's a lot of confusion around that and how it's going to be handled once the full game launches. So throughout the video I'm going to go ahead and cover how crossplay is expected to work based off all the information we have, and on top of that I want to go ahead and talk about how the gap between keyboard and mouse and controller is not quite as large as a lot of people think. So hopefully you do enjoy the video or find it helpful in some way. If you do, please remember to hit that like button. If you're brand new and you'd like to find your way back, make sure you do hit that red subscribe button, turning it to gray with notifications on by ringing that bell. So I think one way to simplify this is to determine how you're actually playing the game. If you're going to be playing on keyboard and mouse, it's going to throw you into one bracket, and if you're playing on controller, it's going to throw you into another. Meaning that if you play on keyboard and mouse on PC, you are a keyboard and mouse user. If you play on controller on PC, you are a controller player. And the same goes for the console. It's going to have native support for the keyboard, so if you plug in your keyboard and mouse, you will be a keyboard and mouse player. And obviously if you're playing the console with the controller, you're going to be a controller player. So if my Xbox friend is playing keyboard and mouse on Xbox, we're going to have mixed lobbies if I'm playing controller on PS4, because he has one type of input and I have another. If we're both playing on controller, we're going to have controller lobbies. And obviously the same is going to go for keyboard and mouse. If we're both playing with keyboard and mouse, we're going to have keyboard and mouse lobbies. Regardless if I'm on a PC and he's on a PS4 or Xbox One or vice versa, however it works, it depends on the input you're using. Again, whether that's keyboard and mouse or controller. So that's pretty much the way that crossplay matchmaking is supposed to work. But let's say it's a worst case scenario, everyone's fears, they're just going to throw PC players in with console players. And I would say that the vast majority of people will say that PC players have a significant advantage, not even a minor advantage, a significant advantage over controller players. But I'm going to go ahead and show off some stuff where that's not necessarily the case. And it all comes down to the game and one specific mechanic. And that mechanic is aim assist, target assist, that is granted to controller players, but not to PC players. And depending on the game, this is enough to bridge that gap. In Rainbow Six Siege, you do not get any kind of aim assist or target assist. So there ends up being a huge gap between a controller player and a keyboard and mouse player. But when you go ahead and jump into other games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, or any other game that has some kind of aim assist or target assist, that gap that was very apparent is now all of a sudden closed. And that's not obviously going to close all the gaps. The players still have to be very good at the game. It's not like I'm just going to throw someone on a controller and all of a sudden they're good because they have aim assist. Still got to have relatively good accuracy, especially in this game where there's a ton of recoil. And luckily during the reveal live stream, they actually had a team of 2 controller players versus a team of 2 PC players that you guys I'm sure saw on the thumbnail, which was Shroud, Skadoodle, both playing on PC. Then you have TeePee, which is a former pro player but now is a coach for Team Optic. And obviously Noah J, which is primarily known for his zombies content, but is also a very good Call of Duty player as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about their gameplay. Obviously all their channels are going to be linked in the description, even though their channels completely dwarf mine. But at the end of the day, I want to go ahead and show credit where I'm getting this gameplay from, so you guys can go ahead and follow those channels if you're interested in that type of content. And before this matchup, I always thought to myself, well, you know what? If we go against PC players, it's not going to be all that bad. Not all PC players are God tier players, and we're definitely not going to run into anyone like Shroud on a regular basis. And Shroud, in case you guys don't know, is a former CSGO pro on PC, and he is known for having one of the best shots on PC and being pretty much good at any video game he puts his hands on. So during the live streams, they actually played 2v2 head-to-head, back-to-back, so they had a total of 2 complete matches. And initially I thought, you know what, Shroud and his partner on PC are just gonna dominate because it's Shroud. You know, even if Shroud was solo, he'd probably dominate. And that was my thought process. But actually, as I watched the matches, I was pleasantly surprised. And the main reason for that is because when you actually watch the gameplay, you're gonna see that there's not really big difference. There are different things that you can have an advantage with on PC, like field of view and just having just more keybinds. But at the end of the day, if the game's designed for console, the console is still going to be able to stay in the game with that additional aim assist and target assist. So when I actually watched, I primarily had Noah J and Shroud up on the screens and the entire time. And I was just kind of watching back and forth, listening to their commentary. And Noah J admittedly said he's not really the S&D type where you only get one life. He's much better at respawn game modes, kind of gets into a rhythm or whatever the case is. And I'm the same way. I'm not really an S&D guy. I've played it. I've had some success with it. but for the most part, I'm a respawn game mode type of person. And after that first match is pretty much how I expected. The PC guys won 7-2, but fortunately for the sake of this video, they went ahead and played a second match, which you're going to see right now. So you can see halfway through the second match, they're fairly close. It's 4-3 at this point. The console guys are going to end up winning the entire match, and it's going to be fairly close. So obviously there's a lot of factors that go into this. Obviously these guys are not at their home setup. Maybe Shroud has a better computer, better monitor, all that different stuff. Even how they handle the distractions, because the room around them is fairly loud. So there's a lot that goes into it. But to my knowledge, this kind of opportunity doesn't happen very often. So I thought it was worth at least talking about, especially since they're on an equal playing field. They're pretty much on LAN connected 2 versus 2. So the console players ended up finishing the match on a 3-game win streak, winning 7-4, as you can see right here. Obviously, this is a small sample size, but it is a sample of what it looks like when a keyboard and mouse player plays against a controller player. And in this particular case, 2 keyboard and mouse players play against 2 controller players. And even though we're not really going to have to deal with this type of matchmaking when we play Call of Duty Modern Warfare when it comes out on October 25th, this just kind of gives you an example that even if it were this type of scenario, it's not going to be as bad as a lot of people are thinking. So I know I covered a majority of what I wanted to cover, but there's still 2 issues that I think I wanted to talk about. The first one being that obviously PlayStation has 1-week exclusivity. So it's going to be a little interesting to find out how they figure out how the DLC is going to work between PlayStation and Xbox as well as PC. Because obviously if there's brand new DLC maps, everyone's getting access to them. You're going to cut off a portion of the community for 1 week, which seems a little bit odd. Maybe they're going to do the same thing with DLC weapons. They're going to have 1-week exclusivity. But unfortunately, regardless of which route they decide to go, it's never going to be what we want, because we want everyone to play everything at the exact same time. We weren't a part of this exclusivity deal. If you're on PlayStation, we didn't make this deal so that we get content first and Xbox gets it last along with PC. We didn't do that. They went ahead and did this years ago, and they continue to renew it. I don't know how long the contract is, but we're in 2019. This is a dated business model that they just need to forfeit and let go. So again, diving back in on that controller versus mouse and keyboard part of it, I'm gonna talk about my own personal experience. When I went to the reveal event, they had different stations set up, and a lot of times you guys are seeing the different videos out there. There's Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, and it just continues on through the phonetic alphabet, also known as the military alphabet, and it pretty much goes through all those letters. And how it worked was Alpha through Hotel, which is basically A through H, were all the controller players. Then they had I and J as the PC keyboard and mouse players for India and Juliet. So initially when we played the 6v6, the 2v2, the 10v10, we didn't play against keyboard and mouse players if we were playing on controller. It didn't come to playing against keyboard and mouse until we did the 20v20. Because we pretty much queued into the lobby and in the mode, and then pretty much it felt like how it does when you play at home. You pretty much press X to join a lobby, and then the lobby fills up, and then the match starts. And that's pretty much how the flow of progression went for those 20v20 modes. And I didn't even realize until I kind of went back through all the different gameplay that I have to kind of figure out exactly what happened within these matches, to find out that the India and Juliet were the PC players. So after looking through all my different gameplay, I noticed that I was running into a few of these PC players, but I had no clue. I never felt like I was at a disadvantage. I never felt like I was getting insta-melted because their accuracy is supposed to be better than console, or whatever the case is. I never had those issues. And I can never imagine a public matchmaking lobby that will be as sweaty or as difficult as the lobbies I played when I went to this reveal event. Obviously, everyone wants to get out there and try to perform as best they can. Maybe they camp a little bit more, play a little bit slower than they normally would for their streams or for their videos. So obviously we're working with the best case scenario currently, but let's say things shift and we end up with the worst case scenario where keyboard and mouse is going to be going against controller players. I am personally not worried, and I don't think you should be worried either. And with that, I'm actually going to walk through the final scoreboard for one of these matches, and you're going to recognize some of these names as I go through them. Especially if you found my channel, you've probably seen a lot of these other guys' channel before you found mine. The main thing we're looking at here is the clan tag as well as the phonetic alphabet. First one bot, that's actually Dismo, Noah, probably Noah J, then myself, and then you can see it continues on. We don't really see any PC players there. Then we go ahead and go to the next group of people. You can see it's K3. You also have Ocean in there, Lone Wolf, Foxy, Espresso, and a few other people as you go down the list. but there aren't any I's or J's, which basically means that most of them are going to be on the second half of the scoreboard. In this particular case, since it's 20v20, what you're seeing here is only half of the scoreboard for each team. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, learn something new, because there is a lot of information when it comes to Modern Warfare. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. Obviously, I am a Call of Duty channel, so I'm going to continue posting Call of Duty content. So if you want to find your way back, now's the time to make sure you double check and you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on. And if you're only watching for Modern Warfare, that's cool. I'm going to post content for Modern Warfare when the game actually launches and we have the beta and stuff like that. But when it comes to Black Ops 4, I'm going to continue posting that until the end of the game's life cycle. So I appreciate anyone who made it to this point. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.